What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com, joined alongside Brett Collson here. Brett, 3 days, a massive amount of money wagered. We have come to the conclusion of the first ever DraftKings National Sports Betting Championship. Things went incredibly smoothly for 99% of the event. We did, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you followed along closely enough to see a little bit of something happen there towards the end.
Yeah, there was a bit of controversy there leading up to the second NFL game on Sunday. Some people weren't able to get their bets in and reinvest money that they had won from the first game into the second game. And yeah, it may have affected the standings a bit.
If you guys are totally new to this, watching this for the first time, DraftKings had a $10,000 buy-in contest. $5,000 went to a prize pool. $5,000 became an active live bankroll for you. You ran that bankroll up as high as you could, or busted it out, as in my case, or you just busted it out. And at the end of the day, the person whose $5,000 beginning bankroll was the highest at the end of the contest, they won the contest for $1 million. And so that is why it was kind of such an amazing thing here. We did have a guy who took his $5,000 bankroll and run that up into $101,474 over the course of 3 days, which is incredibly impressive. Yeah. I mean, it's just incredibly impressive when you think about it. And really, it wasn't even a 3 full days. It was more like 2.5 days. Betting didn't start until noon on Friday. It ended with the kickoff of the second NFL game. You could only bet NFL games on Sunday. So really, he took this 5K to 101 without even really having a full 3 days and without even having a full spectrum of sports to bet on the final day.
Yeah, and it sounded like he liked to bet on soccer, so maybe he would have bet some soccer games on Sunday too. So yeah, he was pretty. I mean, he wasn't really aggressive on Sunday either. I mean, he kind of sat back and waited to see what others were going to do. Placed a huge bet on the Eagles +8 or 8.5, and hit it and won all the money.
Yeah, in the link below, guys, be sure and we'll have a link to the video where we actually had an interview with R. Lee Jr. 86, taking that home, and again, $1 million win for him. Now, the controversy in what started here, the rules were stated on the final day that there would be no bets taken after the kickoff of the second NFL game. Now, this was from the very get-go of the contest, so everybody knew that that was going to be the case. I think what DraftKings didn't anticipate, and maybe even some of the people in the contest didn't anticipate, was if that first game ran long or perhaps even potentially went into overtime. And therein lies kind of the rub with this was if you had all your bankroll in play, you took the risk, I suppose. I mean, it's an inherent risk no matter how you look at this, is the fact that that bet might not have been graded in time for you to have more money to put back in play. And if you guys were watching the end of that Chargers, I mean, it just drug and drug. We were sitting there and I was going, guys, this is going to get tight. And y'all were like, it's going to be fine. I'm like, guys, I think this is going to get tight. And then it got tighter and tighter. And then when they scored that touchdown there at the end, that just extended it another 5 minutes. And then these guys found themselves with all of 2 or 3 minutes, really. I mean, we were live on air, and by the time that game had ended, the other game had kicked off. We were still live on air. So, 2 or 3 minutes probably.
Probably, maybe 3, maybe 5. I mean, it was very tight, and not a lot of time for DraftKings to grade out these winners that essentially affected the contest.
Yeah, so the third place finisher, a professional sports bettor named Rufus Peabody, you might follow him on Twitter. If you don't, you can take a look at what he does. He finished in third with $81,891. Now, he's not going home broke or anything. That was a $250,000 payday. However, there was certainly something brewing there with how he would have handled that second game. He was all in on the first game. His bet wasn't graded in time, so therefore he just ended the day with $81,000, having to just sit and watch game 2 play out without having any cash down on it. I mean, at the very least, I guess we can't assume he would have won because we don't know what he would have bet. We don't know how much he would have bet. It is certainly within the realm of possibility that he got up into second place. He only finished in third by, $6,000 and change. So, I mean, that's still a $100,000 difference in prize money. So, I mean, we can't just assume that he would have won. But, again, even if he would have bet 10 grand on that last game.
He claims he would have bet the Saints money line and the under, which would have hit, but we don't know how much he would have bet and how much that would have paid out and where he would have finished. If that is the case, he probably would have won. He would have set himself up to where he would have bet enough to win and finish with more money than Randy, the winner. But yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't really know. Overall, 130 of the contestants finished with at least a penny left
home with something
left in their account. If you were wondering how this all played out, and it's interesting because this is the first time, of course, that we've seen this, so we didn't know how it would be. Again, you started with a $5,000 live bankroll, and as we look at the final standings here, had you basically just not done anything, a $5,000 bankroll would have finished you in 45th place.
You would have had to bet $3,000 at some point. But if you had just broken even, you would have finished in 45th.
So, I mean, only 20 spots out of the money with not increasing your bankroll 1 cent over the course of the contest, which is pretty interesting. You know, I mean, it just lets you know how aggressive these people. And I think is, you know, the kind of the overriding concept here, and kind of one of the things that, you know, we saw in the room was people going crazy for all kinds of plays and all kinds of everything. And I think the thing that surprised me the most, Brett, was just how aggressive everybody was, because we did know that, you know, some of these people got in for $5, $10, $20 satellites that were running on DraftKings, and I expected there might be some people who kind of just sat back and were pretty calm with everything. We saw people busting on day one. We saw tons of people bust on day two, and then, of course, after the first game in day three, actually after the first quarter, because a lot of people just had first quarter bets in that game. After first quarter of game one, we had, you know, the majority of the field at that point.
That's what made it so fascinating yesterday. Well, especially yesterday afternoon, when people at the top were just firing parlays, doing anything they could that could, you know, give them a chance to win and catch the guys at the top. And a lot of different scenarios could have played out, but it turns out some of the guys who just fired the big straight bet finish in the top three, top five.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out going forward. I do believe DraftKings will make this an annual event. I do believe that the other sports books out there will look to do something similar to this. I mean, it was a pretty good turnout. And I believe that now that we know kind of how the rules need to be tweaked, kind of how these things need to be changed a little bit. I mean, there's going to be kinks in the first time you do anything, right?
And so DraftKings knows they made some mistakes. Yeah, for sure.
And you know, the easy fix in all this, and you know, Brett and I really quickly, we kind of thought about it. We're like, you know, I understand there was an inherent risk in making those bets and you going all in the first game. However, for a player experience, I think you just have to make it to where the betting cuts off at halftime of the second game. Yeah. And then with that, you pretty much know, you know, that you know 100% that the game is going to be over the first game, and people will have bets. And yeah, they might have to make in-game bets at that point, but at least the experience for all the players is not going to come out negative. I do believe that there are going to be some people that leave this a really fantastic event for, again, 99% of it. I feel they're going to be some people leave with a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth, and that's just very unfortunate.
It is, because
for something with such a small tweak, right? Just a small tweak, and it wouldn't have been.
The story is picking up steam with outlets that weren't covering it originally. So I mean, this is what people are going to take away from this event, and that's too bad, because, like you said, it was a really, really well-run event for most of the way. Yeah,
I mean, really no glitches. I participated in the event. No glitches with the app. Everything was working seamlessly for me. Everything worked fine. The setup was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I mean, as we look around the sportsbook, I mean, just walls of TVs everywhere, chairs. There was food. There was bars. There was everything that was going on with that. It really was. It was something that I believe that had this small little thing not gone down, I think most of everyone would have walked away saying, you know what? Yeah, they could do a couple of different things. Like, certainly, I think that you and I both agree that this would really be amazing to do, where there's a full Saturday of college football games and a full Sunday of NFL games. And then at that point, this thing would be rocking, because there was definitely an atmosphere in there, and there were certainly people sweating games. But if games are just getting decided left and right and all over the place, that room would have been electric.
Especially on a full college slate on Saturday and then a full NFL on Sunday would be amazing. I think hopefully that's what we're aiming for next year.
I think hopefully that is probably what we're going to see happen.
Or later this year.
Or later this year. But overall, again, you can go to thelines.com, check out the full recap if you want to kind of get the play-by-play of how it went down over the course of all 3 days. Of course, there's a link in the description down below right here. You can see our interview with the winner. Again, won $1 million and would not have won $1 million had the Saints kicker made the 52-yard field goal there towards the end of the game. So that's kind of what this went down to. We're talking $1 million swings in this contest and things like that.
Would Rufus have won if that...
Well, I guess...
I think Rufus would have won.
Would have hung on.
Yeah, if that kick went through. So
pretty interesting. $1 million getting swung, all over the place on 52-yard field goals, and that's what it's all about. But overall, really great event. Guys, thanks for watching this. Again, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. Let us know in the comments. Anything you want answered, we'll try and answer as well about the contest and everything that went on here. Talk to you guys soon.